Hello everyone, welcome back to Game Brigade. Today is a channel update, collection update, just a video that I haven't done in a while. These have normally been like a monthly update video, but it's definitely been well over a month. We're almost coming on like 2 months since I've done the last one. So we're going to be doing a little video today. It's going to be a lot different than what the last video, and let's preface into why there's been a change in the upload schedule for this video. The last month in review channel update video basically covered what did I get, like what added to my collection, what am I selling, what am I backing, whatever. I also talked about things that are doing in the background, like movies I'm watching or TV shows I'm watching. So we've taken some of those segments back in other segments. So like the whole Kickstarter, what am I backing and what am I doing? I've transitioned that to the backer skip segment because I felt like it needed its own segment. It didn't feel like it fit very naturally here. And I just covered a video. I just did a video of the top 10 games that I'm playing right now. So that kind of took away the whole, what am I playing? So I was like, man, I kind of feel like there's not a lot of content for a full channel update, month in review, whatever this is. But I figured, you know what, let's just change it up and just make it a chit chat video. Some people like chit chat videos, some people enjoy hanging out and talking and just kind of talking about what we've been doing in the past month. The biggest thing for me this month, and what we got the laptop here for, is I sold a bunch of games. So we're going to be talking about the channel, or not the collection update in terms of finally getting what I sold, and I've got my prices of what I asked for and what I sold. I almost flipped you guys off there. So I thought that'd be interesting because you guys can kind of see maybe if I'm losing money or what are my thoughts in terms of the price and whatnot. I actually do need to update one thing because this is wrong. It won't let me do it. Well, here we go. Okay. Because I want to make sure it's all accurate. So let's talk about what's been going on lately. First off, I've been super busy in the back end. We're building a secondary home, a cabin up in a resort home. It's taking forever. It's literally been a nightmare, but we're kind of coming up closer to the finale. Like we're getting close. We just had cabinets put in, our countertops are in. So I feel like the light is finally at the end of the tunnel, thank God. We started this project in January of 2020, just to give you some timeline reference of how long I've been invested into this frickin' build job. And it's been a pain. So we're finally getting there. So that's been taking a lot of my mental focus and attention, as well as everything else. So I haven't been, I wasn't really too focused on doing this month in review. In terms of movies and things, we haven't watched a movie in a while. We're supposed to be watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We just got through Age of Ultron, which was better than I thought it was. I thought I liked Age of Ultron, then I heard some really bad things. I didn't mind it. And then we watched Winter Soldier. Captain America Winter Soldier, still an incredibly, one of the better, I think almost all the Captain America centric movies are better so far than all the other ones I've seen. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the storytelling is better or the characters are better, but I've just enjoyed all of the Captain America movies way more than the other ones. Ant-Man we just watched, really enjoyed Ant-Man. And so Ant-Man was the first one that I haven't actually seen before. Some of these other ones I've seen back in the theaters or whatever at some point. But Ant-Man I had never seen it, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I didn't know that it was kind of a heist movie. So that was kind of fun watching that and seeing how Ant-Man's going to be around. And I really enjoyed that. So now we are on, in terms of the Marvel movies, we are on Civil War. So we're just starting Civil War, maybe about 20 minutes in. Remember, the problem is we have to watch, and the reason I can't give you guys a full in-depth analysis for these movies sometimes is because we have to watch them in segments, because it's we got our young daughter, we have a 2-year-old daughter, so it's we can watch a movie for 20 minutes and then it's got to be moving on to something else. So sometimes it's hard to get through things. I do have a ticket purchased for Top Gun My wife surprised me with a special date ticket, so we're going to go see that at the theaters on launch. I think that's on the 26th. So I'm super excited to see Top Gun, the Maverick, the new Maverick movie. And then my friend just rented out a movie theater to see the new Jurassic Park. He rented out the theater, which was surprisingly cheaper than I thought. How much do you think it costs to rent out a movie theater? I think he said it was like $290. Like, not bad. So we're getting like 15 families that want to see the movie, and we're just gonna rent the theater so only our family can be there. And so we're gonna watch the final Jurassic World movie. I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. Have not been the biggest fan of Jurassic World, but I still love the world that it's set in. So I'm still excited. It's like Star Wars. Star Wars is one of my favorite franchises. I hated the new Star Wars, but I still saw them like opening day because it's the world and I want to still see what happens, and I'm invested. So that's been the back end stuff. TV shows, actually. I'm still watching TV shows all the way through. We just finished Deep Space Nine, and I finished Seinfeld. So those are finally done. Really enjoyed Seinfeld. In fact, in Deep Space Nine, I might have talked about this earlier. I'm not sure. It's been a while. Deep Space Nine, Star Trek was way better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it wasn't going to be very good. Very, very good. In fact, in the running for like number one with Next Generation, which Next Generation is my favorite Star Trek, if you guys care. So I'm watching right now Star Trek Discovery, and it is subpar. It is so bad. Like, there's points where you're like, okay, I can see the potential here. It's very like exciting and things are going to look good. But they just don't have very good writing, and they don't make it so that you care about the characters. Some of the characters are very, very weirdly written in the way they act and respond to situations. It's almost as if like a millennial or a Gen Z person, a young person, wrote the script as if like this is what they would be like. But we have to understand, like, these are supposed to be Starfleet officers. Like, I would never look at someone in the Navy right now and think that they would respond or talk like that to their captain or anything. It's just very strange. And it takes me out of the show. So I would give Discovery like a 2 out of 5 right now. I'm still watching it. I'm curious what happens. And then Strange New Worlds just released on Paramount Plus, which is actually looking really good. I haven't seen it yet, but the captain of that show is also in Discovery, and he is the only reason I really like Discovery. He's an incredible actor and an incredible captain. So I'm excited to see Stranger Worlds once that comes out. And then my wife and I are watching House of Cards. We're coming up to the final season, and we are like at this point so over with House of Cards. Like, we're just like, can this be over? I feel like House of Cards was super good for the first 2 seasons, and then halfway through season 3 it started falling off, and it's just not been very interesting since then. So, but we're so invested now. We're like 62 episodes into this thing, so we're almost done. But that's back end stuff. Let's talk about the collection. What did I do? What did I sell? So we had a bunch of sales. I've been trying to sell things locally, online, and through eBay. So we're going to talk about those 3 things and my experiences with them in terms of what I thought. So locally, either through Facebook Marketplace or through our board game swap. If it's through Facebook Marketplace, I love it because it's usually just cash deal, get the product, super simple, no shipping, whatever. Through the board game swap, it's being hosted by one of our local stores. And when someone buys your game there, you get store credit. So you're not actually getting cash. I can't really take that money and pay my bills or whatever. But it is able to help me buy another board game. And so basically we're turning one board game into another board game. You're turning one experience into another. So that's helpful. So that's when I talk about the board game swap, that's the effect. It's store credit. eBay, obviously, everyone knows how eBay works. You sell it, they take a cut, and then you get a portion of that. And then Facebook Marketplace online, so through board game sale groups. So I'll talk about each one as I talk about what I sold. So the first one is I had a second copy of Uprising: Curse of the Last Empire that was an all-in. I listed that for $200. It was all-in, so it's basically what I have up here. It was a second copy. and sold that for 200, or asked 200. I sold that for 185, and I sold that on a Facebook group. So I was fine taking the hit there in terms of the $15. I had no idea what the game was worth. It included an extra set of dice and whatnot. I took a shot and thought I was pretty happy. Pandemic Anniversary Edition. So this was the first Pandemic. Came in a tin metal tray, and I had bought the painted miniatures for it. So the MSRP, what I paid for it was $79.99 plus 6% sales tax here in Idaho, and then I bought the $20 miniature pack. So I was in it roughly around $100. I listed it for what I was in for, $100, and that took a long time to sell. I actually listed originally at $120. Because it's out of print. If you're trying to find it, it's impossible to find that specific model. So I tried 120, didn't sell. Tried 100, didn't sell. I finally did agree on a term price of $87. So I lost money on the Pandemic Anniversary Edition, but I'm glad that I recouped at least some of my cost on that one. Mostly because I don't ever play that game anymore, and it's hard to sell Pandemic when you can go buy Pandemic used somewhere for like $10 to $15, like the original just game. So being able to ask $87, yes, it came in a really cool tin tray, like it looked like a med pack, but still. I think we already talked about Everdell, Game of Thrones. We sold that. Lord of the Rings LCG. This was kind of funny. I told you guys that I just recently bought Lord of the Rings card game. Well, it turned out I already owned it. I bought it in that collection that I bought from that guy that I bought a whole bunch of games for $400 from. I didn't really know that it was the LCG, so it's been sitting on my shelf forever. And then I finally figured out, oh shoot, I just bought this again. So one of my friends was here, and he actually wanted it, and so I said, yeah, I'm thinking about selling for $20. He goes, okay. He pulled out $20 and bought it. So I sold my base game Lord of the Rings LCG for $20. Is that good or not good? I don't know. I was happy with it because I cleared a big old spot off my shelf. Eclipse First Edition, and this included 2 expansions. So I had the Rise of the Ancients expansion and the Ship Pack 1 expansion. The Rise of the Ancients expansion, when I did a lot of research on that, it looked like it was a super hard to find, ultra rare expansion, which kind of drove the price up. So I asked total, now you might have to do a calculator here if you need to do math. Eclipse First Edition, I was asking for $40. And then the Rise of the Ancient expansion, I asked for $70. And for the Ship Pack 1 expansion, I asked $20. Okay, so you get an idea there. Unfortunately, because this is what I took a massive loss on. Because of the second edition being so easily able to find now at $140, and it includes effectively everything that I was trying to sell here, and it includes the game trays and makes it more accessible. I was having a very hard time selling Eclipse. I'm like, man, what do I sell this for? And no one was taking bites. So I eventually did sell that online on a Facebook group for $60, all 3 expansions. So that one was a pretty big loss. But again, I got that in that box sales set that I bought for $400, and I effectively priced out every game at $10 a piece. So if I was selling everything for at least $10 or more, I was making profit on it. But in terms of the realistic value of this game, I feel like I probably lost out on that one. But yeah, $60. And then War of the Ring First Edition. I just bought the second edition. I don't know if we talked about that again, because I can't remember what I talked about in my last video where we acquired new games. But I bought War of the Ring second edition with all the expansions just to kind of update the collection. The second edition is a better board that's more clear in terms of what's going on. So I wanted that, but I didn't need both editions, even though I had that ultra rare second edition, or not second edition, ultra rare Battles of the Third Age with my first edition. I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to open this because it's so rare. I'm never going to enjoy it. So why not get the second edition and get all those expansions that I can at least enjoy? So I sold the War of the Ring first edition for $40, and I asked for $40, and I sold that on a Facebook group as well. So that was great. Pretty happy about that one. I felt like I offered a pretty good price. The retail version of the second edition is like $79. roughly where you can find it. So I gave half off for the first edition. It was pretty much in mint condition, other than there was a little bit of damage in the corner from my daughter peeling away some of the picturing. But other than that, pretty good. I sold Dwellings of Elder Vale. Originally asked $350. We agreed on $300. And so we sold it for $300, and then after shipping, I actually had to cover a little bit more than the shipping. We miscalculated the shipping. My total cost received for Dwellings of Elder Vale was $295. That's also after the PayPal fee for the coverage for buying and selling. So $295 is what I walked out with. That was also from a Facebook group, but they obviously use the PayPal purchase and protection, which is fine. But that went from $300 to $295 after everything was said and done. So Dwellings of Elder Vale, $295. I think that's a good price. It's more than I paid for the game by basically double, I feel like, which is great for me. But I don't know if it's worth more than not. I just wasn't sure. The prices on eBay are all over the place. You'll see someone selling for like $200 and then another person selling for $500. And I have no idea why people buy the high priced ones. So it throws off your evaluation in terms of trying to determine the price. War of the Ring, Battles of the Third Age. I had this listed on eBay for a long time. I initially listed at $200 because there was other listings at $265 and $245. So I thought $200, this will sell quickly if those guys are sold. And there was other sales in that area as well, like sold listings. It sat for a very long time, so I reduced my price to $185. It sat for another month, and so I reduced my price to $165. As soon as I sold it, I reduced my price to $165. I got a sale the next day. So I sold War of the Ring, Battles of the Third Age for $165. After eBay's 12% fees, I came out with $155 for that one. And again, that was part of that collection that I bought for $400. So that was a great bonus for me there. Super happy about that. And then Myth. Myth was another game I was trying to sell. I tried to sell that at a board game swap. I've tried to sell that on local Facebook groups. It turns out not local Facebook, online Facebook groups. Turns out someone locally picked it up. I had it listed for $40. This was, I believe, a Kickstarter version, again, from that collection I bought. Had it listed for $40. We agreed at $30. He offered me $30. But then we couldn't meet up where he wanted to meet up, so I just drove to his house and dropped it off at his house. And I think because I drove to his house, he gave me an extra $5 as a thank you, so that's good. So $35 Myth. So recapping everything that I sold this month, we had Pandemic, we had Eclipse, we had War of the Ring, Dwellings of Elder Vale, War of the Rings, Battles of Third Age, Myth, and Lord of the Rings LCG. And so total, I've got my whole list of everything I've sold this year, which is doing pretty good. I'm pretty surprised of what I've sold, which is pretty good. And obviously some of these bigger titles have upped the price point quite a bit. I also sold Waste Knights, but I'm not sure if I remembered if I mentioned that. Waste Knights was a Kickstarter that I bought. Did my review, did my playthrough for it. Second edition, the second expansion just came out on Kickstarter. I had that listed for $150 and I sold that for $130 at the board game swap. So that was sold at the board game swap, Waste Knights. And I did that one because it just wasn't enough solo content for me. It was too much double-handed solo, and I didn't want to play more than that. So I was done with it. So that is full transparency selling and what I actually received. I don't know if anyone actually ever talks about what their profit or losses are on their sales. And I thought that might be interesting to kind of share what I have actually been selling my product for, when I'm selling my games, and if I'm making a loss or not on them. So what do you guys think of that? Is that interesting? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. I need to also remember to do this part in the beginning of the video. And that is asking you guys to subscribe if you're new to the show, or liking the content if you like the content. It really is so pointless to put at the end because only 10 to 15%, I think is what YouTube stats are right now, make it to the end of the video. Usually people stop after 10 minutes. Like that's the average duration. So I really need to put all the call to action stuff to the front, but it's so hard to remember that stuff because it's like you want to just get to the video and get talking. And I want to be those YouTubers that sits for 2 minutes before you actually get to what you're talking about. So I'll try to remember, because it's for the best of the channel. If you guys want to support this channel, help me do what I'm doing, I have a Patreon down below. And, appreciate any kind of support. You can help me buy a coffee even. I actually feel lost. I don't have a coffee right now. And I was like, I need a coffee so bad. So I'm kind of dragging a little bit. So if you want to buy me a coffee, Patreon down below. Or you can join the Discord, talk with me, hang out. Love to have you there. If you like this, leave me a comment down below. If you don't like this, don't leave a comment. Just go away. Actually, you can leave a comment. I don't care. I actually prefer reading everyone's thoughts. I'm going to let you go again because I'm rambling. I really need to figure out how to end these videos. It takes me so long to get out of here. All right, talk to you all later. Bye-bye.